my name is Brittany, welcome back to my channel, and today you're going to be watching part 2 of Summerween days 4 through 7. Please go check out part 1 where I give you my thoughts on Clown in a Cornfield, and I went and did some fun 4th of July activities with my family, and went to the botanical gardens, and watched my mom eat a very, very spicy New Mexico burrito. But that means that I have only a few days to read 3 books, and one of them is a graphic novel, and that is my book for In the Dark, and that is Witches. And I did read a little bit in the dark last night, but I'm not very far into it, and I'm honestly kind of struggling with it. I'm just not really a big fan of the art style. I just feel like it's very confusing for me, and I'm kind of getting a little bit lost, and it's almost like too gritty and hard to read, and not like in a like, oh my god, I'm scared or like traumatized type of way. It's like I just feel like the art almost detracts from the story a little bit. Like I think some of like the scarier parts like are really gross and creepy. Like I love that, but it's just like hard. Like everything like seems grainy. It's like it's just a little hard to read and connect to it. And then I ended up picking up Little Heaven from the library. It did come in on time, and this is my book for the orange and black cover. This is by Nick Cutter. He also did The Troop and The Deep, and this book takes place in New Mexico, so I'm really excited to get into this as well. But this was kind of my last book, and honestly, like, it's kind of a chunky one as well. It's over 400 pages, and I just feel like, why did I choose such long freaking books for this challenge? And then for our paranormal book, I still have The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon, and I really don't know much about this other than like it's probably good. This book in itself is like 330 pages, so again, there's still like kind of longer books. Like I really wish I would have chosen smaller books with bigger writing, because this is such, there's a little tiny writing in here as well. So I have only a few days left to succeed, and I go back to work very shortly because I only took 1 extra day of PTO on top of a holiday. So I mean, it's good that I get to go back to work and kind of have more of like a normal routine, because definitely seeing my mama, little brother is great, but like when they're on vacation and you're doing stuff and it's just like not your normal routine, it kind of like throws you off of your groove. So I'm gonna try to accomplish this. I'm not really sure how it's going to work out. But we went to some ghost tours yesterday, and of course I can't show them to you because you're not allowed to record, but it was a really cool experience, and I definitely recommend you guys do it. I didn't realize they had nighttime tours. We went during the day and it was fucking hot. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it was like so hot, like we all felt kind of like sick, and we forgot to bring water, and it was like a good hour and a half outside, and the tour guide was really nice and like helped put us in the shade. But the ghost stories were amazing, and they even encourage pictures, because a lot of times people have really cool pictures. And one of the ghost stories is her name is Scarlet. They call her like Scarlet the Harlot. She obviously died a long time ago, and people sometimes, like, especially she goes to men, and if you take a picture and you try to take a picture by this one gate, sometimes she'll show up in pictures as a naked redheaded woman. And it's really cool hearing about these stories, and I definitely believe in ghosts. You know, I feel like going on a ghost tour during Summerween was obviously like the perfect thing to do, and I definitely would do it again. We're gonna plan on doing it again at night. Maybe like around Halloween time would be really fun. Maybe they'll have some like extra spooky stuff. I would definitely 100% recommend this, but I'm sorry I can't give you any footage. It's basically just Old Town Albuquerque, and it is gorgeous, and there's a lot of like cool history, but like I think you're not gonna get the same experience obviously if I'm just showing you pictures of Old Town anyway. But I would definitely recommend you go do that. And then we had Longhorn for dinner, Longhorn Steakhouse, which is my favorite steakhouse. Is probably, that's like a chain restaurant. It is really good, and that was like my birthday dinner because my mom wasn't here for my birthday, so my mom paid for dinner, which was so nice. Thank you, mommy. And it was delicious. And then it actually had a huge thunderstorm. Again, it has been thunderstorming a lot. There's a lot of lightning storms here too, just like with lightning. We're also in the middle of monsoon season, so pretty much rain at least 4 times a week minimum, if not almost every single day. So that is a New Mexico hot tip. So I'm actually gonna try to do that. I'm gonna go sit in my bathroom really quick, not a joke, and I think I'm gonna go try to read Witches in the Dark, because I really just kind of want to get it over with, which sounds terrible, but since it's a graphic novel, it shouldn't take me too long. I'm already a little bit into it because I read it last night with just my ring light, which is what I'm gonna do again in the dark, and you'll see that very shortly. But that's what I'm gonna try to do, and at least get this one out of the way, and then I'm probably gonna start The Night Sister, because I also have this on audio, and I was thinking about maybe going to the pool later today. I always say that, I just like never end up going, because I think it's just so much work. It's just so hot with the elevation and like the sun being down on you, and the pool is on the other side of the complex. It's a lot of work to get over there. So we'll see. So I decided to make my famous chocolate chip banana bread muffins for my brother and my mom, and I'm going to link the recipe down below, even though I do change quite a bit about the recipe, including the cooking time and the temperature and everything. So I do change quite a bit, and I like to do that to pretty much all my recipes. So if I ever link a recipe, I usually don't follow it wholeheartedly because I am quite the chef myself and decide what I do and don't like in my recipes pretty often. But this one is nice and super easy, so I've been enjoying getting some rotten bananas going and then making these at least once every 2 weeks recently, just because they're a really lovely breakfast snack, but they're also really good if you want like a little bit of dessert because they're not too sweet. And then we're having our Vietnamese beef for dinner, so I'm cutting up this flank steak and marinating in hoisin sauce, and then I cut up cucumbers and I put those in some like rice vinegar, sugar, and salt, and it's so good. And then I make this with chili, garlic sauce, and mayo. And that is our Vietnamese beef dinner, and it's one of my favorite dinners we found recently, and it is just addicting, and the grilled meat is fire, absolute fire. So I'm gonna finish reading Witches in the Dark, and I have my ring light, which is the only light in my room. I do technically have 2 Himalayan salt lamps, but they're not like bright enough to actually read by. It's like really nice mood lighting, but it's not actually like doing anything if I need to read something. So I'm gonna finish this. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it yet. Even halfway through, I'm just like really kind of not feeling it. Unfortunately, I feel like the entire first half is all like backstory, but I just like really don't care. I'm not connecting emotionally to anyone in the story, and it just kind of feels like violent scene after violent scene after confusing violent scene for like no reason. So we'll see. Okay, I just finished Witches, and like honestly, I don't even know why it's called Witches, because I feel like these are like honestly like forest monsters. I get like they have like a couple witchy things, like they make ginger grow on trees, so it's like a gingerbread house, and like they boil people in a cauldron apparently or something. I don't really know. I feel like these are more like monsters than like a witchy thing. I was really expecting more of like a witch element. It just felt like we were like following monsters, and yeah. Pretty disappointed about that. The only thing I really liked was I liked the father-daughter dynamic, but otherwise, like, I was pretty lost throughout a lot of the story. I had to, like, reread a lot of things. I just never really connected with the characters. Like, I feel like, especially in a graphic novel, like, the one thing I really need is to connect with the characters, because we're following them only, like, in picture form. And I feel like in other books, it's usually pretty easy to do that, but for this one, I did not care about any of the characters, like, in the slightest. In the slightest, did not care. I liked there was, like, a small twist at the end. I liked the ending, the twist of it. That was cool, but, like, otherwise, I was pretty bored, and I wasn't particularly scared. I feel like the first opening scene was probably the scariest, best part of the book was the beginning. And then after that, I was like, oh. Like, I just feel like there's so many, like, plot lines that were brought up to be part of the story, but, like, they were dropped and were, like, not relevant. And, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if I really feel that strongly about this. I honestly feel like this is, like, a 2 stars for me. I'm kind of disappointed, especially because it's, like, a horror graphic novel. But I feel like if you were new to graphic horror, you would like this. But since I'm pretty experienced in a lot of the horror genre, it just didn't really work for me. I just feel like it was way too predictable, and like a lot of the tropes were overdone, and I just expected more. I also I'm not really a big fan of the art style. I feel like it is creepy, and I really liked that, but unfortunately it's also kind of confusing the way like some people just make graphic novels. To me, they're just a little bit too confusing. I do like to read more linearly. So I just kind of struggle with graphic novels in general, just because I tend to like, you know, words on a page. But yeah, I definitely struggled with that. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever read, and like I would recommend it to other people, you know. I just really don't think it was for me. This is not going in any favorites box. I will not be reading the second installment. I think there is one, so not interested in that. However, I think I'll start reading Little Heaven. I tried reading both The Night Sister and Little Heaven, and I think Little Heaven seems a little more interesting. It's already starting off with like this weird creature thing, and this weird creature thing like eats something and like becomes part of it, and it seems cool. I hope it's good. I don't know yet. I'm only like 20 pages into it, so this is what I'm gonna try to read. This one is really chunky. Oh my god, how did I notice it's like 480 pages? Oh, sweet lord, that's long. For a horror novel, that's really long. That makes me a little bit nervous because I only have like 2 days left of this challenge. And tomorrow morning, my family leaves, which is like great, you know, because I'm gonna have more time for reading, but at the same time, I have to work tomorrow and I have to work the rest of the week, and I'll literally have like 2 days to do it, so will I really have more time though? This is next up on the docket. I hope It's good and a fast, easy read, and I hope it really pulls me in. Good afternoon. It is day 6. My mom and my little brother left this morning. She left behind some food because we never end up eating it. So for lunch, I'm gonna be having a hot dog and a brioche bun. Kalinka is joining me. She's always where the food is. You want some bun? You eat it. You know you like it. Oh my God. You spit it out by accident. Also, look at the earrings my mom got me when she went to Santa Fe yesterday. These are real and they're so pretty, and she won't even tell me how much they cost because she picked them out and then the lady told her the price and she didn't have the heart to tell her no. And they were like insanely expensive and more than like 4 of the gifts for other people put together. So sorry, but they're so pretty. Sorry they're not Summerween themed, but technically I guess they could look summery, so. I've said this before, I believe, when I talk about Nick Cutter, but he does write a lot like Stephen King, and I'm really feeling it in this book. I felt it in The Troop, but I'm really feeling it in Little Heaven. We're following 3 different people who are like sharpshooters or like bounty hunters or like hired guns, and they all made a deal with like that weird black creature I mentioned, and they're like unkillable. So I'm really curious to see how this is gonna go. I don't know yet. I think it's just getting started. So I'm gonna enjoy my lunch, and then I have the rest of my work day, and then we'll talk later.
Seems that we got the wrong list. Tell me whose recipe is this? Looking for a form that I can change. Something we won't recognize. Tell me the shapes you have.
So it is the last day of Summerween, and I just got off of work. I'm not that far into Little Heaven. I'm not even a full 150 pages into this, and this book is like 490 pages. So will I finish today? Probably not. But I'm probably going to cheat and continue reading this tomorrow and still count it as Summerween. Okay, that's definitely happening because there's no way I'm gonna finish this tonight. I doubt it because I'm honestly kind of like not feeling it. It's not bad. It's just like how Stephen King can get kind of slow. It's not bad. It's just like character building, but I really want to like get to the point, and like I think I know kind of where things are going, and I'm just like not living for it. I just don't really know if it's like my thing or my favorite trope. So anyway, I'm gonna go to Dutch Bros now. That is what we're doing. I'm gonna go get my brother and I some Vampire Slayers, which is very fitting because it's Summerween, but Vampire Slayer is the best green tea that Dutch Bros has, in my opinion. And I'm really feeling it because it's pretty hot out today, and that way I can sit in line and try to read, which is something I like to do. I like to try to pick a place I know will take longer so I can have to read longer, because I just want to get through this book. If I can at least get halfway, I'll feel better. So that's my goal for today. Will that happen? I don't know.
Tell me there's colors you don't know. Spiders on.
So for the make it or bake it or make a drink thing with a spooky read, we're having s'mores because in Little Heaven, I got chocolate on my hands. I'm not gonna show you the book. Anyway, in Little Heaven, they're basically like camping in the woods, and what do you do when you camp? You eat s'mores. And they also drink a lot of whiskey in this book. So I figured I would have the only whiskey I have in my house, which is Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. So I will be shooting this and having some s'mores and accomplishing this feat. I have to wash my hands now. Shh. Kalinka, Mommy's about to shotgun this whiskey. Be quiet. Oh, it's so sweet. Oh, so cinnamony. I did it. Kalinka agrees. So it's technically day 8 of Summerween. I'm just gonna extend it myself. Thank you. But really what happened is I go to bed at like 10:30ish. So I went to bed at 10:30, and technically Summerween did not end until last night at midnight. So I will be giving myself 1 hour and 30 minutes to finish this. And I don't know if that's gonna be enough time. Yesterday I made it to page 345. And this is 490. Don't look at me. You shook the bed. It was weird. I'm sorry. This book is 486 pages. So I have like 140-ish pages of this, but I just honestly don't care. Oh, rare. Meow. Aww. Are you gonna comfort me because I'm upset? Oh, she also just loves books because she likes to rub on them. Yeah. Anyway, that was a deterrent. I don't even know how to describe this book. Like, I just don't know where it's trying to go. Like, I see like the story it's trying to tell, but I just don't know if I care enough about these characters or anyone in the story to like give a shit about these creatures that like eat people and like rip their faces off, which is beautiful. The body horror in this is wonderful, but like, why do I care? Like, I just feel like it's such a small problem. It doesn't like affect everybody, so it's not like scary. Like, I love the body horror parts of it, and the creatures themselves are terrifying. Like, I just don't really feel the fear. Like, I'm not feeling the suspense, I'm not feeling the fear. I just want it to be over because I feel like this book has given me so many opportunities for me to put this down. Like, it is just so slow through like most of the book. The vast majority of this book, I would say 80% of it is extremely slow. Even when like there's action, I just feel like it's slow and I just don't care, and it's 500 pages of this. Anyway, so I'm gonna give myself an hour and a half to finish this. And perfectly in an hour and a half is when we're gonna order dinner. Are you gonna stay with mommy while she reads? Or are you gonna fight me? Oh, I got it on camera. See? You're naughty. You're naughty. It's the next day, and I actually finished this yesterday when I was supposed to, within my hour and a half I gave myself. I had 4 minutes to spare. I did it. I'm pretty impressed with myself, I'm not gonna lie. I trudged through all of those pages, and actually the ending was probably the best part of the book, so it was a lot easier. It definitely sped up a bit, but I did spend the entire time reading. The entire time. I put that little forest app on, you know, where you can grow a tree if you don't touch your phone, and I grew 3 trees. So let me give you my final thoughts on the book. I think I'm just gonna rate it like a good 3 stars. I just feel like any less is disrespectful, but I would say the first half of this book, up to like 300 pages, is pretty slow, and you're really getting a lot of backstory. This is definitely written like an older Stephen King, like 100%. At some points, I honestly felt like this was Stephen King, like writing as Nick Cutter. Like, their writing was almost like inseparable. And I'm a fan of King. I just have the same issue that a lot of people have with especially older King, is he likes to ramble and overwrite and hear himself talk. And it's not like a bad thing all the time, but sometimes you just kind of want to get to the point. And the first half of this novel really felt that way. I also just felt like this should have been organized a little bit differently, because we start off, the first couple chapters we're following the mercenaries in present day and like what their lives are like now. And I think that should stay. I like the way that happened. I liked that pull in. I liked knowing a little bit of their backstory. But then the rest of the novel goes between 1965 and 1980, and it kind of switches back and forth at different times. And I feel like it would have been better if we just started in 1965 and worked our way up to 1980, and then we got like a little bit more there. I just feel like that would have like worked a little bit better, because it was kind of a little bit all over the place. I really liked the cult aspect though. That was pretty cool. It was very Jim Jones-esque. If you know who that is, you know who it is. And some of that were like direct lines taken from his speech, which was really cool. I don't know, I just kind of struggle, especially with the pacing. I have a really hard time with really slow books. I don't mind if it's like a little bit slow, but I would say like 75% of the entire book was just very slow, which made this 500-page book feel even longer. This felt like a very long book. But overall, I really liked the ending, and so I would recommend it. I feel like the last like 100 pages flew by, and there was just some really weird body horror shit. If you do not like body horror, I wouldn't recommend Nick Cutter at all in general. But I would think, especially in this book, I honestly feel like part of it was like worse than the troop. Like, parts of it definitely were, but that doesn't start till like after the 250-page mark. So you're gonna be clear up until then, because before that, there's not like a whole lot of it. The troop is kind of more throughout, I suppose, but this had some just really weird shit. I can never look at babies the same. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, I can just never look at them the same. It's fucking weird. But I like that, and I like things that kind of like me out a little bit. Like, that's what I want from horror, and that's what I like from Nick Cutter, and I definitely would try his other book, The Deep. Is it a new favorite? No, but like, I guess it lives on in my memory. Like, I'm definitely not gonna forget that ending ever in my life. So for that horror aspect, like, I definitely recommend it. Your girl completed Summerween, and I only didn't get to one book, which was The Night Sister. But since this book also had paranormal elements, I technically could count it for both the paranormal book and for the book that has Halloween colors. So I'm kind of winning here. I read 3 books in a week, which for me is great. I did make something and I did drink something. So I feel like I did a pretty great job of Summerween, especially when I had family visiting for the vast majority of Summerween. And I technically extended it by a day, but it also was the only hour and a half I had left on Thursday night. So technically I completed Summerween on time. Okay, that is it for this vlog. vlog. I will talk to you guys later. I will see you guys later. Please let me know what you guys read for Summerween. I'm really curious to know like what other people are reading. I've been watching Summerween vlogs like crazy. So please link yours down below if you can. I don't really know if you can do that anymore, but if you can, link it. Anyway, like, subscribe, join the tribe. Talk to you guys later. Bye.